Welcome to Tech Brothers. In this video, we'll be going through checklist for migration of SQL Server 2008 to 2014, and we'll be taking an overview of this checklist, and I'll be going through the demo in my next video. I will be taking SQL Server 2008 migration to 2014 from the scratch, and I'll be using this checklist basically to complete that. Let's go ahead and take an overview of checklist right here. This will be the source SQL Server checklist. We will be using the word source as our source SQL Server and the destination where we want to basically move our databases and migrate to. That would be our destination SQL Server. So on the source SQL Server, the checklist contains action items and your action yes, no, and if certain action item does not apply in your case, you can put not applicable. And these are basically important action items. I might have missed some, but if I missed some in your case, if that applies, you can go ahead and add that into action item, and this will give you basically a pretty good start as far as your migration from SQL Server 2008 to 2014 concerned. So first is identify databases you would like to migrate. If you are migrating certain databases, not all databases, then you need to identify what databases you would like to migrate. Second up here is backup all user databases. This is important in a case if you're taking the strategy of backup restore databases for migration. Third up here is script out all the existing logins. This we'll be using Microsoft SQL Microsoft login in order to script out all the logins on our source SQL Server and taking that to our destination SQL Server. And number 4 right here is script out all the server roles if applicable. If you have created some server roles in your case, you should take this you should script out, because that needs to be created on your destination as well. So script out all the audit and audit specifications. Again, it's the same thing, that if you have audit and created audit and audit specifications, you should script out, because we need to create that on destination. Script out backup devices. If you have any backup devices configuration, you need to script out that. You need to script out all the server level triggers such as delete databases, create databases, or any server level trigger that you have created. You need to go ahead and script out that, because that would be on our destination as well. Script out replication along with configuration. This configuration has your replication. Once you go ahead and entire replication, script out entire replication, this will contain some configuration, but if you wanted to do separate replication such as subscriber and publications and all that, you could do that too, but keep in mind that all the configuration needs to be scripted out in order for us to create the same thing on our destination. But if the databases that you're taking migrating from 2008 to 2014 does not contain replication, you can put not applicable up here. Script out all the mirroring if it's set. Script out data collection if it's set. Script out resource governor if you have created resource governor for some of your queries and your it's all set, then you can go ahead and script that out, and we will create that on our destination server. Next thing, we have a script out link server. If you are using link server somewhere, you need to script out that. Basically, sometimes you don't know that maybe you have joined this organization new and you don't really know that if link servers are there. This checklist will at least make you look into the link server before you during the planning of your migration. So this is pretty good. Script out log shipping. If log shipping is there, you need to script out that. And its settings. If you have a database mail setup, then you need to check that profile. Otherwise, a lot of your sending email from SQL Server agent will not work. Any proxy account that you're using needs to be scripted out. Any operator you have created needs to be scripted out. Any alerts that you have created needs to be scripted out. SQL Server configuration file, you can save the SQL Server configuration just in case that there are certain user configuration that you made in SQL Server and that needs to be set on destination. You need to save that configuration so that you can compare the configuration in later on destination server. If you have a data encryption set, you need to basically keep in mind that all the keys data encryption objects needs to be scripted out or needs to be saved and taken to destination server. Up here there is a This is not a post-migration checklist for destination. This is basically as a part of pre-migration stuff. Required SQL Server is installed. All the DBA checklist, which means that the configuration of SQL Server according to your environment, that needs to be set. It should meet your production environment detail. That's why I said that DBA SQL Server checklist, that is mandatory for a lot of our organization. We do have a checklist as a DBA, and enough space available for migrating if you're taking the strategy of backup restore and you're taking the backups files to the destination, which makes it faster to restore makes restore operation faster. Then you can go ahead and make sure that you have enough space on the SQL Server on your destination where you can store the backups and store all the scripted out stuff that you did on source server. And also you need to have all the application folks sign off that the SQL Server 2014, their application is basically compatible and will work on SQL Server 2014 before you go through the efforts of migration. So basically that was it. These were the important checklist points that I came up with, and if I have missed any point, you can go ahead and add in that checklist. And again, this checklist is part of our migration from SQL Server 2008 to 2014 suite. So I'll be performing a demo, so stay tuned. I hope this video helps.